the Baja 1000, I think, is the most important race in our series, and I believe that most teams consider it that way. And the way I've put it is that you can almost DNF every single race during the season, and then win the Baja 1000, and your year was a success. Most teams would rather win the Baja 1000 than win the championship for trophy trucks. So I mean, it's our Daytona, it's our Indianapolis, it's the race that means everything to us. So the Baja 1000's it. I mean, you prepare for the 1000 12 months a year. It's an ongoing process. So we're always thinking about it. Javi and I started, and we started second off the line behind Roger Norman. And at the beginning, Roger was setting down a pretty good pace. So we try to sort of mirror his pace in terms of trying to pressure him into committing a mistake. We knew at the beginning it was going to be very tight. I mean, out of Ensenada through Ojos Negros, across 77 down into Leyes, it was going to be all very, very tight. So we really thought our opportunity to get around Roger was going to be once we got down into the San Felipe, Puertecitos area after our first pit. So we ran a pretty good pace, I think, at the beginning. Obviously, we had BJ right behind us, and then Andy behind him, and we stopped for our first pit right at about race mile 148, 150 around there, which is where we jumped onto Laguna del Diablo. Did a tire change, full fuel, left that pit in second place, probably within a minute behind Roger. We were going down the dry lake bed, I don't know, about 133 or so, and we got a flat on our rear tire. So it was weird. It was, and we got out, we changed it, no one got by us. Javi and I, we practiced a lot changing the tires. So I think we did it in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Got going again, so Roger kind of extended his lead through about 3 minutes. And we just kept pushing through San Felipe. San Felipe has always been good for me because I can push the truck very hard in San Felipe, and it likes the bad stuff, the whoops. The Geyser trucks are excellent, and obviously the Fox Shox just absorbed all that and went through it perfectly. Once we started going down Puertecitos, though, we heard that Roger had a flat a little bit further ahead of us, so we picked up the pace a little bit to try and get by him and get some clean air. We were able to do that once we got out onto the highway. And we noticed that we had a couple of headers that were broken, so we stopped in the middle of the road. Javi got out really quickly by himself, checked and saw that they were far enough down the header that it wasn't going to affect us, at least immediately. So we got back in and continued going. By the time we got to Puertecitos around there, we had about a 3-minute, 50-second lead on Roger, which we were comfortable with. And we just decided to run our own pace and keep going from there. Went through Gonzaga, had our second pit. It was a splash at Coco's Corner, race mile 305 or so. Got out of there in first place with about 4.5 minute lead on Roger. Dropped into Calamajuey at race mile 319. Took it very easy in Calamajuey. There was a lot of water when we went pre-running through Calamajuey. It was very slippery mud, so we just putted through there. I mean, we didn't want to get anything wet, obviously not get ourselves wet, especially when the sun went down. So we just putted through Calamajuey, and we got to race mile 334, which was El Crucero, before it got dark, which was ahead of pace for us. We thought that it would get dark at Coco's Corner. So it was lucky that we got in there. We did the driver change at 334. I got out, Javi got out, my dad got in with Sergio Reina, and they got going from there. We jumped in a car, went down the highway to San Ignacio, and they had a clean run basically from out to Bay of LA, down the highway, through El Arco, San Francisquito, and back out to El Tablon. Once they got back out to El Tablon, they had a 30-second lead on Roger. When I left the truck, we had about a 5.5 minute lead on Roger. So he kind of caught up a little bit, but in the highway section between El Tablon and San Ignacio, I think he pitted, and by the time I got back in the truck and got going, he was about 2.5 minutes behind us. I think BJ was like 4 minutes, and Robbie was like 5 or 6 minutes behind us. So we started going again down to San Juanico, and there's really long straightaways between San Juanico and La Purísima, where again going about 125, 130, we got another rear flat, got out, changed that pretty quickly, got back in the car, didn't lose any positions, but again we lost about 2.5 minutes or so, and we pitted at La Purísima, just fuel and tires. We got some feedback that Roger wasn't behind us at that point. I believe it was Robbie, and he was about 14 minutes behind us. Kept going from there, went across to checkpoint 7, which was a little bit north of Loreto. Got on the highway. We didn't do the silt beds. Obviously, they deviated us around the silt bed. So got to the where the right where the Loreto axis is. We did a quick stop there because it just added enough mileage for us going out to the highway and deviating to where we were not going to make our pit in Constitucion. So we had to do another quick splash there. I believe we had about 12 minutes on Robbie at that particular point. Went over San Javier, just the beautiful mission up there. Came back down into Constitucion. Actually, Insurgentes is further north, or into Insurgentes area. Heavy fog, very, very heavy fog. But once we left Insurgentes, we had a 30-minute lead on Robbie, and that's who we were basically keeping tabs on at that point. And got into the fog. Basically, we pre-ran at night, 3 a.m. In the fog, so I knew what it would look like. I knew what it would feel like. So I think that was a big advantage that we had in terms of running in the fog. And we kept a pretty good pace. I mean, we were probably doing like 80 in the fog the whole time. Once we got out to checkpoint 9, put the car in first gear, and it just spun. Nothing happened. So obviously we got worried at that point. We put it in second gear and just decided to take it really easy. We knew we had about a 30-minute lead on Robbie, and there's been a lot of other occasions where we've been leading and just stuff had happened to the truck, and it's one of those stories. Well, I was leading, but then X happened, right? We just took it easy. Last 160 miles or so, just went really easily through the gears. Tried not to shift a lot. Especially coming down into the pause, that little summit. Once you're coming down, just took it very, very easy through there, and ended up being at the finish line about 23 minutes ahead of Robbie, and obviously the first Mexican national team to win a Baja 1000 overall. Being the first Mexican team to win the Baja 1000 as an overall, and obviously there's been a lot of other teams. I mean, I think there's 37 classes in off-road racing between motorcycles, and I know there's been a lot of teams that have won it. I mean, I've had the pleasure of winning it. My father's had the pleasure of winning it in other classes, but just winning the Baja 1000 overall, I think Sal said it, we couldn't have wrote it better. I mean, it was the bicentennial, the centennial of the Mexican Revolution. It was the Run of La Paz. It was, father-son team. It hadn't been done in 43 years. For the first time in 37 years, we beat the motorcycles. I mean, there was just so many things going on that made it, I guess, so perfect that it was obviously a very emotional moment for us. And I always say, when we run, in Baja, when we run in Laughlin, wherever we run, since we're the only Mexican trophy truck team running, that in a certain way we represent Mexico, right? So when Andy wins, the McMillan Racing family won, right? But when Vildosola Racing wins, Mexico wins, which was something that is cool and that really kind of bears a lot of weight on our shoulders at some point, but we love it. I mean, we love doing it. We love having that responsibility, I guess, with us, and saying that Mexico won the Baja 1000. I mean, is obviously a great deal of pride for us. I mean, we're very happy. Obviously, it's something that my father has worked for the last 35 years. I mean, it's been his dream, and to be able to do it with him and accomplish it, it's obviously a dream for us. Fox Racing shocks are absolutely the best product on the market. I mean, we have tried out other shocks, and let me tell you, just the difference in what it is. I mean, what the shocks do. We're extremely happy. We're very confident that with these shocks we're going to be able to push the car harder. We're going to be able to go faster, and we're going to be able to win more races. So when it counts, count on Fox.